Hi everyone, Janey here. Welcome back to my garden. I've got a couple things that I want to do in the garden today. And the first thing I want to do is I want to get my August blooming garden planted. So my monthly blooming garden is kind of a challenge that I've done for myself. Every month of this year, I have gone to the plant store and I've picked out perennials or shrubs that are going to be blooming that month. That particular month, it's going to be peak season. For next year, when each month comes around, I'll have some type of flower that's blooming that month that I can go enjoy. So it's been really fun. It's been a tough challenge. I am surprised how hard August was to find something because like everything's blooming, all the annuals are blooming, but everything's getting a little tired at this time. So to find something that could handle the hot summer, the depths of summer right now was kind of difficult, but I did find something. I'll show you. I wanted to give you guys another look at my July blooming garden, which I'm loving. So this little planting right here is what I decided to do for my July blooming garden. So let me just remind you what I chose. First of all, these cone flowers down here are so beautiful. They're the first cone flowers I actually planted in this garden, and these are called Sun Seeker's Rainbow. And the reason why they're called that is because they basically have like a whole palette of pinks and lavenders and salmons in this flower as the flower kind of progresses. So you can see here's one right here. It starts off kind of like a pale yellow pink, and then as it gets older, it comes to like a more of a brighter pink, and then as it starts to fade, it starts turning into a salmon, and then finally even almost like a lavender type color. So it's really pretty. These guys are babies, so next season they're going to be big and beautiful, like almost 30 inches tall. I think they're going to get pretty tall, and I'm really excited about them, and I've really been enjoying them for the past month. Right behind there, I chose something called a ruby grass, which is kind of new to me. This is called pink crystal ruby grass. It's so beautiful. It is like when the sun comes up and you look at the sun through this grass, it looks like pink crystals. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, the funny thing about ruby grass, or not the funny thing, the interesting thing, is it's only hardy zones 9 and 10. It's a South African native. I had no idea. I don't even know if I said that in my July blooming garden video. So for those of you who are lower than zone 9s, this is going to be an annual grass for you, which is still really pretty, but it kind of defeats the purpose of a blooming garden, which is the point is for enjoying the plants next season. But I'm really happy because I'm zone 9B, so I have this beautiful pink crystal ruby grass right here, and then it's underplanted with the Sun Seeker coneflower, which I am absolutely loving. So let me show you what I picked out for my August blooming garden. Jason and I actually went to the garden center this morning. It was very nice, and I had a hard time. Like I was saying, I had a hard time. It was kind of hard to find something that, is in its prime in August, which not a lot of things are in its prime in August, and is a perennial, because there's tons of annuals that are fine right now, but as a perennial. So I cheated a little bit. I did get one annual to kind of round out the whole planting, but let me show you what I got. Okay, so here is my August haul of my blooming garden. You can see it's very pretty. I'm happy with it. I did cheat. I did get some annuals. The point of the blooming garden is to have perennials and shrubs so that they will bloom again next season. These are not going to bloom again next season. These marigolds are annuals. There are some type of marigolds that are perennials, but not these. These are the annual kind. This is called Antigua Yellow, and they are just so pretty, you guys. Usually marigolds are like on the warmer tones, like warmer yellow, kind of like if you look at my lemon tart lantana over there, that's like a warmer yellow. These are like a cooler yellow, and I just thought that they were so pretty. So I cheated. These are going to get about 12 inches tall. A little bit taller than that though is over here. You can kind of see like I said, look at how beautiful my lantana looks over there and my salvia. So those two are obviously blooming really well in August. I found these. This is bandana pink lantana, which is a very popular variety of lantana. My mom actually has it in her garden and it's so beautiful. It has kind of like a darker pink on the outside of the umbel. So when you look at a flower that's shaped like an umbrella, It all comes from one spot right there on the stem. That's called an umbel. And when you look at that, the outside of the umbel is like darker pink, and then it fades to a lighter pink, and then finally this cool yellow color that matches the marigolds. And then look at this. This is called skyscraper pink salvia. Look at how beautiful this is. First of all, it's my color pink. I love this color pink. But second of all, and more importantly, look at the calyxes. Can you see that? I hope that's coming across on camera. The calyxes are like this mauve-y color that almost is like rose gold. Like it's a rose gold color. It's just so pretty. These are going to get about 3 feet tall. These are hardy zones 7 through 9, I think. I'm going to put that on the screen. These bandana pink are 9 through 11. So I know I'm going for higher zones now. I hope all of you who are in lower zones put in the comments what is in your August blooming garden for those of you in the lower zones. Because obviously I'm higher zone heavy right now, especially in August, because we got to find stuff that can handle our heat here in these higher zones. But anyway, this pink color is a beautiful pink, and it's more of a cooler toned pink, which again matches with the cooler toned yellow and then the cooler toned of the bandana pink lantana. So 3 feet tall, about 18 inches tall, and this is 10 to 12 inches tall. But of course, these are annuals, so they won't be here next year, but these guys will be here next year. So now I just have to decide where I'm going to be planting my August blooming garden. The salvia is full sun to part shade, so it can pretty much handle anything. The lantana and marigolds are full sun, so I'm going to have to find a full sun spot. And I have 2 spots, one in the orchard and one in the willow tree garden bed that I'm thinking about. Let me show you. So over here in my orchard garden, I am thinking about right underneath the fig tree, kind of in this area. Right across the pathway, I have the Evolvulus Blew My Mind, which is just spilling over and looking absolutely gorgeous. I do have this Beyond Pinked Caryopteris, which is absolutely beautiful and absolutely could have been a fantastic option for my August blooming garden. Oh my gosh, there's a goat right there. Hello. Hello. You want to see what I'm doing? That sneeze scared me. So when I found out that when goats sneeze at you, and it's not really a sneeze, it's more like a snort, but it sounds like a sneeze to me. When goats sneeze at you, it means they're irritated, annoyed, and warning their friends of danger. So they sneeze at me all day long, basically. But that one did scare me. Anyway, back to the planting. The Caryopteris could have definitely been part of my August blooming garden. It's gorgeous. And I do think I want to get some of the blue, Beyond Blue or something like that. I can't remember what it's called, but it's just a really pretty late summer bloomer. So that's a great option for an August blooming garden. I am thinking that this spot right here might be a really good spot. Now I know it looks like it's shade right now. It's the morning time, but I actually planted some Gardenmeister fuchsia right there. And I actually planted 3 of them, and 2 of them died because they were getting too much sun. So it's deceiving, but this is actually a full sun spot and it gets the hot afternoon sun. I thought that this fig tree shaded it more, but it doesn't. So kind of coming around here is where I'm thinking this is a Miss Molly butterfly bush. So this guy's going to get pretty big. So if I planted the marigolds around this, then once the marigolds are gone, the Miss Molly can take that spot, and then the salvia and the lantana can be behind it. Another option was planting it kind of over in this area, right behind the spectabilis. I think that's how you say it. This one is kind of like a succulent-y type one. It's really pretty, but mine are just really young. So I'm thinking about planting it right here because the cool color of the Evolvulus Blew My Mind is going to look really pretty with the cool pink of the skyscraper pink salvia and the pink bandana lantana. So anyway, so that's an option. And then the third option I was thinking was over here by my willow tree in an area that has kind of gotten neglected. First of all, look at my willow tree. Doesn't that look so good? Oh my gosh. Man, these things grow fast. But it's so pretty. So over here, I have some yarrow, which is another really good option for an August blooming garden. This one is Firefly Peach Sky. You can kind of see some of the peach, some of the new blooms right there. These are all kind of the older blooms. Not a fan of this plant, you guys. Like normally, you know, I love all the plants that Proven Winners comes out with. This is just not one of my favorites. This color of yarrow, I mean, you can see I haven't deadheaded it. There's a whole bunch of old blooms, but it's just kind of, it just doesn't float my boat, I would say. But I'm going to leave it because they're established and they're looking really pretty. But I haven't planted anything around here, anything. And maybe I'll like the yarrow, the peach sky yarrow more if I, one, deadheaded it, and then two, planted some more stuff around here. So that's an option as well. The only drawback to planting over here is we don't have our pathway in yet, and I'm not totally sure exactly where the pathway is going to go. So it's kind of one of the reasons why I've been holding off planting a lot of stuff here. Another really, really good option for an August blooming garden are switchgrass or panicums. This is Niagara Falls. Look at how beautiful. So at this time of year, this is when they get their seed heads, and they're so wispy and beautiful and gorgeous. And oh, I just love these so much. I want so many more of these in my garden, but that's another really, really good option. And I think they're pretty hardy in most zones. I'll put on the screen right now what they're hardy to, but that's a great option for an August blooming garden. I just looked it up. They're hardy zones 4 through 9, and they're going to get about 4 by 4. And I know I showed you the spot over in the orchard, and I showed you the spot over in the willow tree garden bed. I think I'm going to plant it right here. And the reason why is because the Niagara Falls panicum is a cool blue color. It's like a silvery blue strappy foliage, which is going to go perfectly with the cool color pink, the cool color marigolds, and then the cool pink bandana lantana. It's going to be so pretty. All right, and here's where I'm at with my August blooming garden. First of all, I have to say I'm really happy I got the marigolds. They definitely add a pop of color that was needed. I'm going to have more color next season, but the salvia and the lantana are so small right now. It's next season where they're really going to show off. Second, I just have to say my brilliant pink iceberg rose smells like heaven. It smells so good. I keep like smelling, I keep getting whiffs of it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need more of those too. And that's kind of where I'm at in my garden. When something looks beautiful, I just want more and more and more of it. So speaking of that, we have the Niagara Falls panicum grass, and I'm just obsessed with this. And I've decided that I'm going to put 2 more in. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do 6 right here and 7 right there. So it will end with a 7 sunflower tree. the Temple of Bloom. I am going to be pruning it. That gets about 10 feet tall, and I am going to be pruning it up into a tree form. Right now it just looks like a shrub, but it will be growing up into a tree form. And so I think that this is going to be really pretty, kind of a really pretty border right there. Then I am going to be planting another tree kind of in this area, and I think I have an idea of what tree I want. But you know, trees take a couple years to grow into full size, so all of this stuff might change. I'm just telling you all this that just so that you know that, you know, all of this might change even next year. And that's just kind of how I garden is I'll put stuff in, I'll move it, I'll decide to add more, I'll decide to take some of it out. To me, a garden is very, you know, it's very in flux, and it kind of, it ebbs and flows, and you just have to figure out what really works for you and what doesn't work for you. And don't be afraid to take the stuff out that's not working out. So what I have here for my August blooming garden, I have the pink salvia that's looking beautiful. Those down there are a little unhappy. They're complaining they wanted some more water, so I watered them right now. And then I have the bandana, or pink bandana lantana right here that's looking beautiful as well. Next season, they're going to be huge. They're going to be beautiful. It's probably going to be kind of squished with these 4x4 panicums, but there's enough, I measured it, and there's enough space for them to kind of poke out. So I think it'll be pretty. I don't know how much room I'll have for annuals next year. Oh, this one broke. That's okay. I don't know how much room I'll have next year for annuals in front of these, but it can be really easy. I can put in some small, like mini vistas or something I think will look really pretty. So speaking of watering, that is actually what I want to do next. And the reason I'm going to be watering is actually for pest control, spider mite control to be exact. So spider mites, they like really hot, really dry conditions, and windier the better, because they will kind of blow in on the wind. So if you have hot, dry wind, you're pretty much guaranteed to have spider mites in your garden. And there's a couple different ways that you can deal with spider mites, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go with the IPM method, which is the integrated pest management method, which means you start with the lowest, least toxic and least invasive intervention first, and then work your way up from there. So for spider mites, one of the things that they say to keep the spider mite population at bay is when it's hot and when it's windy, and it's been kind of windy on and off because we've been cooling down, which has been wonderful. But because we've been cooling down, it has brought in a little bit of wind. It's hot, dry wind. So I kind of know spider mites are on their way. I found spider mites on my tomato in the backyard. That tomato's just got decimated by the spider mites. So what I want to do is I just kind of want to preempt an outbreak by spraying my plants, spraying the foliage of my plants. And I know that that sounds super counterintuitive to a lot of you that live in humid areas, because in humid areas, the last thing that you want to do is spray your plants, because that can cause powdery mildew and funguses and all that kind of stuff. But for those of us who live in dry areas, spraying foliage actually will help sometimes, especially if you have hot, dry, windy conditions. Now, I did a garden tour at a gentleman's house in my town. His name is Bob Traverso, and he's a wonderful, wonderful gardener. We've actually become friends. And he actually set up his drip irrigation system to have a couple sprinklers so that every once in a while, the sprinklers can spray the foliage of his plants to keep the mite population down. And I just thought that that was genius. So I don't have any sprinklers, but I do have a hose. So I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to kind of just shower all the foliage, kind of like a rain shower, a summer rain shower that we do not get. And hopefully that will combat some of the spider mite population. a break here in the shade. I'm all done spraying the orchard garden, and it's hot, it's a little bit breezy, so it's gonna dry very quickly, but at least whatever spider mite population was there is not happy right now. And it's not going to spread in the breeze and get on other plants or anything like that. So I want to emphasize that it's not going to solve all your problems. If you have a bad spider mite population, spraying water like this might not be enough. And that's what integrated pest management is that you keep going up the ladder of more intensive interventions, but you try and do the least amount as possible. So the spider mites, at least in the front yard, are not that bad at all. And so I'm just trying to be proactive. Whereas in the backyard, where they're getting on my tomato plants, I might have to do a little bit more. I think I'm just going to take out that tomato plant, honestly. But, you know, if they were getting on something else, I might have to use something like a chemical or like a biological or something like that to deal with it. But at least for right now, just spraying water is fabulous. And there's a secondary benefit because it makes everything look better. It basically takes the layer of dust off of all the foliage, and living out here in the country, man, there's a lot of dust. So everything kind of just looks fresh and new and a little bit cleaner, which is great. And it also feels good to spray the water on the plants. I was enjoying it. I'm sure the plants were enjoying it, and I know the pollinators were enjoying it as well. So anyway, I'm going to do the rest of the garden a little bit later. I actually have to take the girls right now to go get haircuts because school starts on Monday. I can't believe it. What happened to the summer? So we're going to get haircuts for them before school starts. They're very, very, very excited about it, which is great. Let me know in the comments section what type of plants are good for you all in your area for August blooming garden. You know, I'm like I said, I'm focusing on zone 9 here because I'm zone 9, but I'd love to hear, and I'm sure everybody else would love to hear, other options as well. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.